Hello everyone, it's me again, same outfit, 2 videos one day. Oh my god. I guess that's what you get when I haven't been around for 2 months. So in this video, I've titled it, what got me to this point? I guess, I don't know what I'm going to title it, but that's probably what I'll title it. You know, a lot of people out there, a lot of my new subscribers, I don't know if you've gone back and watched my journey from the beginning, seen everything that's gotten me to this point, where I started, etc., blah, blah, blah. So I decided to do a video so that I can kind of reference to it when need be, if people are asking me about different things. So how far back do I want to go? I put up this thing and I totally should have printed it out. It's kind of like a little note thing that I put up, kind of, that started my journey, you know. How far back do I want to go? I'm 29 years old, born 1983, May. I don't ever remember being skinny or thin. I look at pictures of me maybe when I was 6 or 7 and I'm thinner. I have no idea about weight. I have no idea. But I'm thinner. I'm slender-ish. I was a chubby baby. You know, I was always tall because my dad was 6'7", my mom was 5'9". Had good tall genes. My memory from my childhood is really hard. I think a lot of it I blocked out. When I was a kid, when I was 5, my dad got into a major car accident and he hurt his back. So I always had my dad at home and my mom working. And my mom was a workaholic. Constantly working. You know, so the job of keeping house and taking care of the daughter was my dad's. So he, you know, did the best that he could as a dad who was in pain. So the food choices weren't always the best. Hamburger helper, tuna helper, loaded with sodium, loaded with not necessarily the best things. So, you know, things like that. Anyway, so I remember when I was in 3rd grade, I believe, I started developing, 3rd, 4th grade, started developing boobs. Hormones kicked in, started eating. Food became a thing of, I wanted people to like me, so I would go, at my school, less than a block away was a 7-Eleven. So we would go after school, I'd buy nachos, Slurpees, candy. I'd buy that so my friends could like me, and then I would buy stuff so that I could eat it too. So then, you know, 8th grade came, you know, I was always a big girl, always a big girl. You know, high school came. I think, I always thought I was smaller in high school, but there's actually, a cousin of mine got married when I was a freshman in high school, and I thought it was like a size maybe 14, 16. The dress was a size 20, a woman's 20. When I was 14, 15, by the time I got married, 15, I was a size 20. You know, throughout high school, I think I probably went up, I know I wore a men's 42, and capped out at a 44. I think that's what they stopped making until I had to go to big and tall. I would wear men's jeans. Always a big girl, never, you know, and I don't remember ever eating horribly, but I think I just ate a lot of junk. Then college came, you gain the weight, never really dated anybody in high school. It wasn't until college that I started dating. And then the boys liked me, and I had, you know, I had big boobs, and I had a butt, and those were my parts of my body that I liked, and I was always the girl that everybody said, oh, you have such a beautiful face, and I did. I had a beautiful face. I had a youthful face, but never anything else about the rest of me. It was always my face. So, you know, I just never remember being thin, and I think that's where a lot of the obsession about, you know, what's not, I think that's well, the obsession of not knowing what size I want to be. That's where that comes from, I think, for a lot of us. So anyway, get into college. After college, you know, my mom and dad always had issues. My mom was a diabetic. She had gained and lost the same 100 pounds for a long time, but those 100 pounds didn't help with her diabetes. She was still a diabetic. She started going on insulin, I want to say a year, or maybe 6 months to a year before she passed away. My mom passed away in December of 2009. Big shock. Everybody, when we were calling people and telling them my mom had passed away. My mom passed away at work. She was always really good about her diabetes, but what they're guessing is that she went into a diabetic coma and then her heart stopped. It was such a big shock. I mean, it was just, I felt like it was a scene from a movie. I mean, you know, they called us, told us we needed to go down to my mom's work. I thought maybe she had gotten into a car accident or something. I mean, the furthest thing from my mind was that my mom had died. You know, we get there and my dad just straight out says, you know, is my wife alive? And he says no. And I just start breaking down. I mean, it was like a scene from a movie. I mean, I'm yelling, no, no, no. And, I couldn't believe it. Even when I saw her, I couldn't believe it. I mean, she was laying on the floor. Apparently the janitor had gone by at one point and she was bent over and it looked like she was bending down to pick up something. He went by again an hour later and she was still in the same position. He called 911, you know, they tried CPR, you know, and they shocked her and of course it didn't work. You know, she's laying there on the floor and she just looks like she was sleeping. I mean, it was devastating. I think that's when it really started. I mean, I had always been around 300, up in the 300-pound range, and I guess I never saw myself as, I mean, I knew I was big because I shopped at Torrid and I shopped at Lane Bryant and I had to go to plus size, but I never thought of myself as being that big. So then months go by, my at the time my boyfriend asked me to be his wife, so we got engaged, planning the wedding, getting things ready, and then September 2010, went to bed on a Sunday night, woke up on Monday morning, my dad had a heart attack in his sleep. And it was at the house. I was still living with my parents at the time. I guess my fiance, he had moved in with us, you know, to help take care of my dad. It was a big help because it was devastating for my dad as well. My mom was the love of his life, and losing her was probably the hardest thing that he had ever done. The hardest thing that ever happened to him. And I truly say he died of a broken heart. I think, you know, my parents got to see me graduate. They always wanted that for me. They wanted me to get my degree. And they got to see that. And, you know, my mom, she knew that I was in love and she knew that it would probably lead to marriage. And my dad knew that I was going to get married. And there's just so much that they didn't see. And it's just so not fair. But anyway, so my dad died in 2010. Less than a year I passed. And I was just lost. I just started eating. After my mom had passed away, you know, my husband and I had discussed weight loss surgery. It's something that I had looked into earlier, but because of my, it was something I looked into probably around 2008. And I don't know if the rules were different back then or what, but my BMI wasn't high enough, which doesn't make any sense because I was in the 300-pound range. But I guess I just thought I had a boyfriend. It didn't matter. He loved me. So after my mom had passed away, my husband and I started talking about, you know, me wanting to be around for my kids and my grandkids and, you know, seeing things that my mom's not going to get to see. And so, after my dad passed away, and I just ballooned, you know, I thought my highest recorded weight was 347, but I found out today at the doctor's office that my highest weight was actually 360. Probably in September, somewhere around there. So that's kind of what took me to the point of wanting to have surgery. You know, my parents not being there for me, but just the thought of not being there for my my mom and my dad are never going to get to hold their grandchild. And it makes the thought of having children even harder, because you know, my parents aren't going to get to hold their grandbaby. And sorry. You know, I want to have children, but I want to have children, and I want to be there for my children, and I want to be there for their children. And that was, I guess, the point that took me to having surgery. And with my, I don't know if my parents hadn't passed away if I had actually ever had surgery. So, you know, I always say this with quotations. I was lucky. You know, when my parents passed away, kind of motivated me to have surgery, and you know, their passing and what they left me financially has been able to help with my husband and I. Like I said in the other video, was for us to actually own a house. That usually never happens. You know, I'm able to have a good majority of the finances for having reconstructive surgery, and you know, so their passing has been horrible on my emotions, but as far as what's come from, you know, the ashes, I guess, of my parents passing, like a phoenix rising or whatever. So that's my story. That's, you know, kind of whatever I could get in this time. You know, and I think then that leads to, as far as goal setting goes, not ever remembering being thin kind of makes it hard for me to set goals for myself, because I don't know what I would look like at 160 pounds. 160 just sounds like a good number. It was half of what I was. Or 150. It was half of what I was. You know, a size 8 is a single digit. You know, I was in double digits for so long, but I was a double digit, like, in the 20s, not a double digit in the teens, which is totally different. So I've come a long way, and whether or not I get down to 175 or whatever, you know, I'm proud of myself. And I know people tell me all the time, and my mom and dad are looking down on me, and I know they're so proud of me. I know they're proud of everything that I've accomplished, everything I've done. I know that they are so proud of me. So, anyway, this is just a video for all my new subscribers to know kind of where I've come from and how far I've come. And, you know, I want everybody to look back and think of what has gotten you to this point, what has motivated you to get to this point, to be considering surgery, to have had surgery, weight loss surgery, to have changed that big part of your life. Because it's not easy. It's not the easy way out. It's not the easy answer. It's not a quick fix. You know, yeah, you might lose 50 pounds without any work, but then if you want to lose the rest of it, you got to put work. You got to kick your own ass. So, you know, think about why you're here and why you made this choice, because it's not just have surgery and lose the weight and be done. That's not what it is. So, anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you got something out of the video. So, talk to you guys later, okay?